So the latest true crime title that we got, guys, in this series was released November 16th of 2005, and it was True Crime New York City. So we obviously have only had two, games in this franchise so far, that being Streets of LA and then New York City. And I gotta tell you guys, both of these titles are really special in a major way. I absolutely love these games. Now, sure, guys, Streets of LA was certainly the better of the two in my opinion, but I still felt like New York City was pretty awesome in a number of different ways. And with that being said, guys, I want to talk about, could this be the next title that gets a continuation of some sorts? And, guys, we always talk about this, but the two things that can continue a series or kill a series is, first off, the sales of a game. And then the second thing would be, of course, the reception around the title. And so when we look at the Streets of LA, which, of course, was the first game in the series, overall, the review scores were pretty good. I mean, on Metacritic, you're getting 77 out of 100. On PC, it got 68 out of 100. PS2 is 77 out of 100. Xbox, 77 out of 100. So that's pretty good. I mean, you would say definitely above average without question. And so that, if you look at that trajectory, pretty good. Now, True Crime New York City got a 59 out of 100. PC got a 54 out of 100, PS2 a 60 out of 100, and Xbox a 60 out of 100. So that's a little bit lower. I mean, not very slightly above average to say the least, but certainly not great. So if you look at Streets of LA, it definitely would, if we're going based on just the reception, Streets of LA definitely justified a sequel, but New York City didn't necessarily justify a sequel based on of course, like the review scores. Now, this main part of this, though, is the sales. So let's talk about the sales, guys. So Streets of LA was a commercial success. During its first 2 weeks on release in North America, it sold over 300,000 units across all platforms. By the end of its first month, it had sold over 600,000 units. Ultimately, the game went on to sell over 3 million units worldwide across all platforms. New York City did not sell well, falling considerably short of Activision's expectations and selling only 72,000 units in its first 2 weeks on release in North America. Now, why is this, guys? Well, a lot of it was probably because of the word of mouth. A lot of people just decided not to play New York City as much or buy New York City at that point in time. There could have been a number of different reasons for it, guys, but if we go based on Streets of LA once again, I mean, it was a commercial success, so obviously it justified a sequel. New York City didn't sell well, so did it really justify another sequel based on the sales? No, it didn't. That being said, though, True Crime, I believe, would do very well as a remake, guys, in today's day and age. And I'm not talking so much New York City, I'm talking Streets of LA. If you took True Crime and you did a remake on it, I think it could be something pretty special. A lot of people would be, obviously needing to get reacclimated to this franchise because it's been dormant since 2005. But I still think that this is a title that Activision needs to bring back. I mean, obviously, we've talked about other titles out there, like the Prototype series. We want to see that come back. True Crime's another one of those, guys, from Activision. I would absolutely love to see come back because they were really onto something. A lot of people were comparing True Crime to Grand Theft Auto at the time, and I felt like this could have been something that was right there, up there with GTA, with Mafia, and titles of that nature. And it just really fell short with New York City, and they decided just to kind of leave it in a limbo state or a state of no return. So the big question is, will we get an announcement now in 2022? And so with Activision saying that they're going to continue making remakes, they stated this in 2021, and, moving into 2022 now, obviously, I think that there's a good possibility that True Crime could be a remake that they announce at some point. That being said, though, maybe they're going to be looking at other titles out there. Who knows? Instead of True Crime, maybe they're thinking Prototype. Maybe they're thinking something totally different. But I just think that they need to give this another chance. And I think if you say you did True Crime Streets of LA or the True Crime remake from the first game, I think obviously because that was a commercial success, they would see if there was still an audience of people that want to play True Crime or at least try it out. And then that could maybe greenlight a whole new, series for the next generation of gaming in True Crime. But it's going to be up to us, guys, as the community, voicing our opinion to the developers, voicing our opinion to the publisher, that being Activision, that, hey, we want a true crime remake made. We want this to come out at some point or another. And I think that, if enough of us do that, our voices can speak a lot louder than you realize, guys. I mean, I always bring up Dead Space. Dead Space was in a limbo state, a state of no return, and the voice of the community really spoke, and EA greenlit a Dead Space reboot, and that was absolutely incredible, because I never thought it was going to come back, guys, after the third Dead Space title, even though in my heart of hearts, I believe that we could really echo it into existence. I didn't know for sure if it was going to happen, and things looked, bleak at times, but it's happening. So the same thing can happen here with True Crime. It really comes down to us as the community voicing our opinion. That being said, though, guys, do you think they'll make a True Crime remake, or do you think they'll announce one here in 2022? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more True Crime content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.